I threw my boyfriend a surprise party for his promotion. 30 people in our tiny apartment. Balloons, cake, speeches. I even made a slideshow of our memories. When I turned off the lights to cue the video, his phone lit up on the table one message. "You're right. She's clueless. Can't wait to be done with her tonight." The room was still dark. Everyone laughed, thinking the gasp I let out was part of the show. But I stood there, staring at that screen, and made a decision. He didn't know it yet, but this night would end with me disappearing and him begging strangers online to help find me. Spoiler alert, they didn't. 3 weeks ago, if you'd told me I'd be Googling how to fake your own death but make it aesthetic, I would have laughed. I was living the dream well, the Instagram version of it anyway. My name's Lila. I'm 27, work in PR, love overpriced matcha, and up until last month, I genuinely believed my boyfriend of 4 years, Nate, was going to propose this year. He'd been acting busy lately, but I chalked it up to his big promotion at his law firm. He was always the ambitious type A, with a side of condescension. But I loved him. Or maybe I loved the idea of what we had: couple vacations in Bali, spontaneous beach photo shoots, joint Spotify playlists like it meant something deep. So when he got that promotion, I went all out. Booked our rooftop space, bought his favorite whiskey, invited all his friends, including the ones I couldn't stand, and even made this stupid little slideshow of our best moments over the years. I stayed up till 2 a.m. syncing it perfectly with that Coldplay song he loved, Fix You. Yeah, I know. Anyway, the night came. I was in my sparkly gold top, pretending not to stress as people started arriving. My best friend, Jenna, kept handing me sips of rosé and saying things like, "This is gonna be a core memory night, babe." She had no idea how right she was. Nate walked in, a little late, typical, and everyone yelled, "Surprise!" He looked shocked, then did that charming grin he always pulled out at the right moment. I swear I heard 3 girls giggle. Whatever, I was used to it. We ate, drank, I gave a toast, yes I cried, and when it was time for the video, I dimmed the lights. Everyone crowded around the projector. I left my phone on the table next to his. That's when it happened. I just happened to glance over. His screen lit up. One text, from a contact saved as M. "You're right, she's clueless. Can't wait to be done with her tonight." My body literally froze. You know that moment when your ears start ringing and everything around you feels fake? Like you're watching your life from outside your own body. Everyone else was still laughing, sipping drinks, waiting for the slideshow. But I just stood there, staring at that message. Clueless? Done with me? My fingers were trembling, but I didn't say a word. Not yet. I just smiled somehow and hit play on the video. Photos of us kissing at the Eiffel Tower, eating street tacos in Tulum, Nate carrying me piggyback on a hiking trail. I watched his face as he saw them all. He looked proud, nostalgic, smug even. I wanted to scream, to throw the whiskey bottle at his head, but something in me snapped. Not in a violent way, more like a surgical detachment. I stopped feeling sad. I felt cold, calm, dangerous. And right then and there, I made a decision. I wouldn't yell, I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't even confront him. I'd vanish. Let him feel what it's like to be left wondering. Because if I played this right, by the time he realized I knew, I'd be gone. I didn't sleep that night. After everyone left, Nate passed out like nothing had happened. Drunk, satisfied, probably thinking the night was a total win. I watched him snore with his mouth slightly open, drooling on the pillow I bought from Anthropology. Romantic, right? My mind was racing. But my body? Calm. Like I'd shifted into a different version of myself. One that didn't cry in bathrooms or beg dudes for closure. That Lila was officially retired. Instead, I was Googling things like how long until a person is legally considered missing, ways to vanish without breaking the law, how to access joint bank accounts without being shady, asking for a friend. Jenna texted me the next morning. "You and Nate looked so cute last night. He better propose soon, or I will personally stab him with love. LOL. I just stared at the screen. He had everyone fooled, even my own best friend. I replied with a thumbs up emoji and a hee yeah, maybe soon. Because I wasn't ready to pull anyone into this. Not yet. I needed a plan. A good one. So I started with the basics. Step 1, prep the exit. I called off work for the week, told my boss I was having a mental health dip. She responded with a 5-paragraph email about self-care and journaling. Whatever. I needed time. Then I started slowly pulling myself out of Nate's world. Unlinked our shared Spotify. Petty? Maybe. But it felt symbolic. Logged into our shared Amazon account and deleted all my saved addresses. Moved some emergency cash from our vacay fund. Read my savings into a separate account. Nate didn't notice. He was too busy texting M under the table and claiming he was buried in briefs. Sure, dude. Bury yourself deeper. Step 2. Gather evidence. Here's the thing. I wasn't gonna go nuclear just yet. I wanted to collect receipts. I started keeping a little file on my notes app titled LMAO. It included screenshots of messages popping up from M, the time he claimed he was at a meeting, but I saw him tagged at a rooftop bar by his coworker. The post-it note I found in his coat pocket that said, "I miss your hands, M. Ew. Cringe. Vomit." I also downloaded all our cute couple pics and backed them up to a drive, not because I wanted them, but because I planned on weaponizing them later. Step 3. The fake out. 1 week later, I dropped the first pebble. I told Nate I got invited to a girls-only wellness retreat in upstate New York. Digital detox. No phones. He barely looked up from his laptop and said, "Cool, babe. You'll love that hippie crap." He didn't ask where it was. Didn't even ask how long I'd be gone. It almost made me laugh. And just like that, I booked a tiny Airbnb 3 hours away, paid in full with a prepaid visa, and packed a single bag. I didn't tell Jenna. Didn't tell my mom. I told no one. And then I left. No note, no goodbye, no drama. Just a suddenly empty closet and a bed that looked too big. I waited for him to text. Nothing. Then, finally, after 3 days of radio silence, "Hey, when back?" I didn't respond. 2 hours later, "Everything okay?" Still no reply. Then, "Okay, seriously? I'm getting worried. Where are you?" And that's when I knew I had him. Because for the first time in 4 years, he wasn't in control. I was, and I was just getting started. By day 5, I had 27 unread messages from Nate, 2 missed calls from Jenna, and 1 voicemail from my mom that was just 30 seconds of panicked breathing followed by, "Call me back," or "I swear I'm filing a police report." I hadn't realized how good I was at disappearing until I actually did it. The Airbnb I was holed up in was tiny, just a 1-room cabin with a rusted kettle, creaky wood floors, and a view of trees that looked like they'd seen some SHT. But it was peaceful. Eerily peaceful, like I was finally breathing after holding it in for 4 years. I spent the first 2 days doom-scrolling breakup revenge Reddit threads, eating microwave mac and cheese, and writing a script for what I'd say if I ever faced Nate again. Spoiler, I never rehearsed it out loud. I didn't need to. I wasn't planning on giving him that luxury. On the 3rd day, I did something bold. I made a burner Instagram. Yep. Handle missed calls and karma. No face, no tags, just vibes. And by vibes, I mean cryptic stories like a photo of my packed suitcase with the caption she left quietly. He still doesn't know why. A screenshot of a Google search. Can narcissists cry real tears? A video of a bonfire crackling with the text, "Burn, baby." Petty? Absolutely. But poetic. I knew Nate would see it eventually. That man stalks like it's an Olympic sport. And judging by the fact he sent me another message 2 hours after my first post went up, "Lila, I know you're online. Please, just tell me where you are." I'd say I was right. God, it felt good. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Jenna finally cracked and drove to my place. I watched her on the Ring camera, trying to unlock the front door with a Starbucks in one hand and a key in the other. She texted Lila, "I'm worried. Where are you? Did he do something?" I wanted to tell her everything. I really did, but I wasn't ready. Not yet. Instead, I sent her a message from a fake number that just said, "I'm okay. Don't trust him. I'll explain soon. I love you." She didn't reply right away, but the read receipt said she saw it. That was enough for now. Back at the cabin, I started getting creative. I printed every text from M, every screenshot, every shady calendar invite he tried to delete, every client dinner that wasn't. I printed them all out, old school, and stacked them in a folder labeled "Evidence of a Dumbass." Why? Because I had a plan. One that would require impeccable timing, brutal honesty, and one little social media nuke. But first, I needed to see her. M. The woman he was willing to blow up 4 years with me for. The one who called me clueless. So I did what any heartbroken but calculating woman would do. I made a hair appointment, got the best revenge bangs of my life, threw on my most unhinged red lipstick, and drove back into the city with only one mission: find her. And let her know he was all hers. Broken, frantic, and about to lose everything. I'm not proud of this part, but sometimes personal growth takes a little detour through chaos. So yeah, I stalked her. It wasn't even hard. Nate had posted a group photo at some dumb charity gala 2 months ago, and she was tagged. Name Madison Clark. Age 29. Job executive assistant at his firm. Face way too confident for someone who sends heart emojis to taken men. Her Instagram was exactly what I expected. Filtered brunch selfies. Basic quotes like, "If you don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best." And at least 4 mirror pics with the caption, "Felt cute, might delete." Spoiler, she didn't. I knew where she worked. I even knew what Starbucks she went to based on her geotags. And that's where I waited. Hair freshly chopped, fake confidence dialed to 100, sipping a latte with way too much oat milk. She showed up right on time. Blonde, tall, skinny, and dressed like someone who watched one too many episodes of Suits. She walked in, ordered something ridiculous, extra hot chai with almond milk and cinnamon dust, and waited at the pickup counter, scrolling her phone. I walked up beside her like I didn't recognize her. My heart was pounding, but I kept my voice chill. "So, Madison, right?" She looked at me, confused. "Yeah? I'm Lila. Nate's girlfriend." Pause. Well, ex, I guess. Depending on how you define cheating. She blinked, still holding her phone like it was a weapon. Sorry, what?" I smiled. Cold. Tight. Not cute. "You didn't know about me?" I asked, tilting my head. "Or are you just really good at pretending?" She opened her mouth, closed it, looked down. Then, finally, she whispered, "He said you broke up months ago." Oh, OH. That lying, gaslighting rat. I laughed out loud. Actually laughed. Right there in the middle of Starbucks, like a crazy ex with nothing to lose. We lived together last week, I said. I threw him a surprise party. I made a whole slideshow girl. She looked mortified. And I swear for a second I saw her soul leave her body. I'm so sorry, she said. I didn't know. I believed her. She wasn't crying. She wasn't being defensive. She looked just as betrayed as I felt. And that's when it hit me. She wasn't the villain in my story. Nate was. She was just another pawn in his ego circus. I handed her a manila envelope, the one with all the printed screenshots. Keep this, I said. You'll want to read it. Then block his ass. She took it like it was radioactive. And then I walked out. Just like that. No screaming. No scene. Just two women in a Starbucks, both realizing they'd been played by the same mediocre man with a good jawline. Meanwhile, in hell aka Nate's apartment, I hadn't been back since I left, but I needed to grab the last few things I left behind, mostly to make sure I had nothing tying me to that space. When I walked in, the place was a disaster. Like, beer cans on the counter, laundry everywhere, half-eaten pizza on the coffee table. I guess mommy wasn't around to clean up anymore. I ignored the mess, went straight to the closet, and grabbed the last box labeled Lila's stuff. Inside, a sweatshirt, some books, and a little velvet box. Wait, what? I opened it. A ring. Not a fake, not a decoy. A real sparkling engagement ring. I just stood there, holding it like it was a snake. He had bought it. He was going to propose? After texting another woman? He couldn't wait to be done with me? Was this damage control? Some sick, guilt-ridden gesture? Or was I plan A and Madison was just a backup? Either way, I put the ring back in the box, closed it, and slid it into my hoodie pocket. Because I had one final act planned. And that ring? It was going to be the opening scene. You know what's wild? I used to dream about that ring. I had a whole Pinterest board dedicated to subtle but classy proposals. I pictured Nate on one knee, maybe in Central Park, or on a beach in Greece, saying all the right things while secretly praying I didn't ugly cry in the photos. And now here I was, sitting in my car outside our old apartment, holding the ring in my hoodie pocket like it was evidence in a true crime documentary. It didn't feel romantic. It felt like bait, which is exactly how I planned to use it. The setup? Remember how I mentioned I worked in PR? Yeah, I know how to stage a scandal. So I texted Jenna. Finally. Need you. Urgent. Meet me at Monty's rooftop bar tonight. Wear something dramatic. No questions. She texted back immediately. What the FK is going on? Are you okay? I've been losing my mind. I replied, I'll explain everything. Just show up. And bring your best. I'm over it energy. I also texted Nate, the first message I'd sent since I vanished. Meet me at Monty's rooftop. 8 p.m. I have your answer. Short. Mysterious. Just enough to get him there. The scene Monty's was our spot. Fancy rooftop, overpriced drinks, city skyline vibes. We'd celebrated anniversaries there. I knew he'd show up. He was dramatic like that. Always chasing some fake-ass movie moment. I got there early. Wore my most stunning black dress, the one he hated because he said it made me look intimidating. Hair done, lips red, and the ring box in my purse. Jenna walked in 10 minutes later, heels clicking like war drums. She gasped when she saw me. Girl, you look like revenge and financial crimes. I grinned. Exactly the vibe. I told her everything in 10 breathless minutes. Madison. The texts. The burner Instagram. The disappearing act. The ring. By the time I finished, her jaw was on the floor. Lila. Holy SHT. I'm so proud of you. But also I kind of want to throw up. Same, I said. But wait for it. Because then he showed up. Nate walked in, all flustered, tie askew, looking like a man with no idea which of his lies had finally caught up to him. He spotted me instantly and made a beeline. Lila, he said, grabbing my arm like we were still us. Where have you been? I've been worried sick. You just disappeared. I thought something happened. I smiled. Calm. Controlled. Something did happen, Nate. You made me realize who you really are. I pulled the ring box from my purse and held it out. His eyes lit up for a second. Just a second. And then I opened it. Inside? Not the ring. Just a folded piece of paper with 2 words written in Sharpie. Try again. His face dropped. What the hell is this? Oh, I said, sipping my wine. It's your proposal rejection. Public, poetic, and well-deserved. People at nearby tables were watching. Phones were coming out. Jenna was definitely filming. Nate's face went pale. Then red. Then somewhere in between. You're making a scene, he hissed. I leaned in, smiling. No, Nate. I'm making a statement. Then I turned around, walked out with Jenna by my side, and didn't look back. I didn't need to, because by the time I got home, the video was already on TikTok. Caption, when your cheating ex tries to propose and you turn it into his worst nightmare. It had 53,000 views in an hour. And counting. By the next morning, the video had blown up. Not just haha funny breakup viral full-blown internet wildfire. People were duetting it, making memes, analyzing every second like it was courtroom footage. My favorite comment? Sis said no ring, just receipts, and I've never been more spiritually aligned with a stranger. I didn't post it, obviously. Jenna did. She knew the game. No names, no locations, just enough tea to get people talking. But somehow, Nate knew. He called. 5 times. I ignored him. He texted. You humiliated me. WTF is wrong with you? I was trying to make things right. Right? Right? Bro, you were sending flirty messages to your coworker while I was ordering custom cupcakes with your stupid initials on them. I didn't respond. I just posted another cryptic story on missed calls and karma. A boomerang of me clinking glasses with Jenna. The caption, nothing says closure, like 100K likes. I thought I'd feel satisfied. And I did, for a while. But that feeling? It's like a sugar rush hits hard, fades faster. Because the truth is, even when you win, heartbreak still sits with you. In the quiet moments, in the in-between. And oh boy, the quiet hit that night. I sat alone in my new sublet, tiny, barely furnished, smelled vaguely like sadness and sage, and I stared at the ceiling thinking, what now? Who was I, if not Nate's girlfriend? My entire identity had been so wrapped up in that relationship, I forgot what I actually liked, what I wanted, what I even sounded like when I wasn't performing stability for someone who didn't deserve it. I'd spent 4 years trying to be the perfect partner, supporting his career, swallowing my feelings, making excuses for the way he rolled his eyes when I cried. And the messed up part? I thought that was love. No, that was survival. And I was done surviving. Not a revenge list, a me list. 1. Get back into writing. I used to love it before I spent all my energy proofreading Nate's cover letters and pretending not to be annoyed when he interrupted me. 2. Take a solo trip. Just me, a backpack, and my playlist of sad girl anthems. 3. Say yes to things I used to say no to, like karaoke nights, late night drives, dancing like an idiot in my kitchen. 4. Therapy. Because honestly, I needed to untangle a lot of emotional knots. 5. Stop romanticizing people who wouldn't do the same for me. This one? Non-negotiable. And slowly, day by day, I started feeling like someone new, someone lighter, someone real. I didn't keep tabs on him. Okay, maybe I did. A little. Jenna sent me screenshots now and then. Apparently, word had gotten around his office. Madison blocked him. His boss, who happened to be a woman, was not impressed. Something about inappropriate workplace relationships and ethics violations. He tried to spin the narrative, of course. Said I was emotionally unstable, jealous, manipulative, cute. But nobody was buying it. Turns out, when you cheat on someone who works in PR, you should expect your reputation to get burned strategically, stylishly, and with perfect lighting. I didn't have to say a word. He was canceling himself just fine. 2 weeks after the rooftop ring drop and viral chaos, things had finally settled. No more texts from Nate. No new drama from Madison, who I heard quit the firm and started a travel blog. Honestly, good for her. My burner Instagram was thriving with vague quotes and aesthetic thirst traps. I even got a message from some brand offering me free candles if I posted about healing energy. LOL. Sure, Janet. Healing via fire and petty captions. But then out of nowhere, I got the DM. It was from a username I didn't recognize, Lexicon Law Girl. Her message said, "Hi, you don't know me, but I used to date Nate 3 years ago. I saw your video. I think we need to talk." My stomach flipped. Another one? This man was out here creating an entire cinematic universe of ex-girlfriends. I had a split-second moment of panic, like, was he running a side hustle as a serial relationship scammer? Should I be alerting the FBI? I messaged back, "Oh God, what did he do?" She replied instantly, "Too much to type. Want to meet for coffee?" I swear I'm not crazy. Just, been where you are. Normally, I would have said, no stranger danger, etc. But something about her energy felt familiar, like a ghost from my own emotional future. So I agreed. We met at this quiet cafe downtown. She walked in wearing combat boots, an oversized sweater, and an expression that said, "I've seen some SHT. Lila?" she asked. "Lexi?" We both laughed, nervously, trauma bonding at first sight. And then we talked. Turns out Lexi dated Nate for over a year, right before he met me. Same story, different font. At first, he was charming, attentive, intense in that love bombs you until you suffocate kind of way. Then came the work stress, the flirty texts to other women, the gaslighting, the disappearing acts, and finally cheating. She found out because he accidentally left his Apple Watch at her place, and the notifications popped up while she was cleaning. His side chick at the time? Some girl named Becca. "So," she said, sipping her coffee, "when I saw your video, I was like, holy SHT, he's still doing it. Different woman, same damn playbook." I sat there, stunned, numb, but also validated. He wasn't just a good guy who made a mistake. He was a walking red flag parade, and we'd all been front row at different points. I thought I was crazy, I admitted. Like, maybe I was overreacting. "Nope," Lexi said. He's just that good at making you think the problem is you. We swapped horror stories, compared timelines, realized there was overlap. He started texting me while still dating her. She started laughing, but it wasn't happy laughter. It was the kind you let out when you finally stopped crying and there's nothing left but ashes. He's gonna do it again, I said. Of course, she nodded. But next time, he'll be met with fire. And just like that, an idea began to form. Not revenge, not exposure, education. Because apparently, there were a lot of us out there. Women who'd been chewed up and spit out by shiny, emotionally unavailable men in suits who smelled like cedar and daddy issues. What if we created something real from the wreckage? Something honest, raw. A warning siren disguised as a conversation. So we did. We made a podcast. We called it The X-Files. Yes, like the show. But instead of aliens and FBI agents, it was two women spilling tea on narcissists, gaslighting, and emotional damage served with a side of empowerment and dark humor. Lexi had some audio editing experience. I had PR connections and a gift for turning rage into viral sound bites. Together, we were a content machine. Our first episode? He said I was crazy. So I made a podcast. We recorded it in her bedroom closet, surrounded by old jackets and a mic we bought on Amazon. I was nervous as hell. My voice shook the first 5 minutes. But once I started talking, really talking, it all poured out. The betrayal, the quiet moments I ignored, the way I doubted my instincts because he convinced me I was too emotional, the time he forgot my birthday but remembered Madison's lunch order, every little crack that eventually shattered me. And when I finished, I felt lighter, not healed, but seen. We uploaded it. No fanfare, just a post on our tiny shared Instagram. Ever been love-bombed, gaslit, and ghosted by a man who drinks black coffee and calls therapy a scam? Same. Episode 1 is live. We thought maybe 30 people would listen. We hit 10K plays in the first week. Apparently, we'd tapped into something very real. Women started messaging us. Some were exes of Nate, which was honestly insane. Turns out the man had a network. Others were complete strangers with eerily similar stories. Different guys, same tactics. Our DMs were filled with, "I thought I was alone. Your story is my story." This made me finally block him. It was overwhelming, beautiful, terrifying. But also, it gave me purpose again. I wasn't just the girl who got cheated on and ghosted. I was the girl who turned her pain into a platform. Jenna was obsessed. She started calling me CEO of Closure and made merch mock-ups that said clueless. Try again. We didn't print them yet. And then Nate found out. He messaged me again. "Lila, you're dragging my name through the mud. This is harassment. I'm going to get a lawyer." I replied with a single sentence. "We never said your name." But if the shoe fits, silence. I knew he wouldn't do SHT. Legal threats are just noise when the receipts are real. Instead, I used it as material for episode 3. He said he'd sue me. I said bring it. And people ate it up. We were climbing the Apple Podcasts charts. Slowly, steadily. People were sending us sponsorship offers. A girl in Chicago messaged saying she played our episode during her breakup and cried in her car for an hour. Then she blocked her ex and went to get ice cream. That's what it became. Not just a podcast. A movement. A space for women to stop blaming themselves for loving the wrong person. A week later, I got a message from a name I hadn't heard in years. Sophie. My college roommate and Nate's first serious ex. "Hey, just heard the pod. I think you and I need to talk. There's something about Nate you don't know. And it's big." I stared at my phone, heart pounding. Because if there was more to this story, I wasn't sure I was ready for it. But I knew I had to find out. I met Sophie at a wine bar, 2 neighborhoods over neutral territory. Dim lighting, and just bougie enough to calm the nerves. She looked exactly the same, just a little older, a little sharper. Like life had knocked her around a bit, but she got back up swinging. She hugged me the second she saw me. Not a polite hug, a full-on, we've been through the same war kind of hug. "Lila," she said, pulling back. "I've been waiting for this day for years." I blinked. "Okay, that's a little terrifying," she laughed. But there was sadness behind it. Tired sadness. "Back in college," she said, "Nate was different. But not really. It just took me longer to realize who he was." Then she dropped the bomb. "He didn't just cheat on me. He financially screwed me over. Like, left me with rent, credit card debt, and a ruined lease." I blinked. "Wait, what?" She nodded, swirling her glass of wine. "He moved in with me junior year. Said it would save money. Then he stopped paying his share. Said his parents were cutting him off, that he'd pay me back. I believed him. I covered rent. Then one day, he just disappeared. Took my laptop, my spare car key, and ghosted me before finals. I sat there, stunned. I thought I had it bad. He blocked me everywhere," she continued. "Even his parents pretended they didn't know me. It took me 2 years to financially recover. I was this close to dropping out." My stomach twisted. That wasn't just emotional immaturity. That was next-level manipulative. "He's always been a chameleon," she said. "He becomes who he thinks you want, until he doesn't need you anymore." And then she said the one sentence that changed everything, "Lila, What if he's still doing this? What if there are more women, ones who aren't just heartbroken but actually in trouble because of him? It hit me like a truck. The paper trail. The love bombing. The disappearing act. The pattern. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was his method. And suddenly, I knew our podcast wasn't just a safe space. It was about to become a damn investigation. Lexi was all in. "This is bigger than content," she said, pacing in her tiny apartment like she was building a criminal profile for a true crime doc. "This is Nate's origin story, except he's not a misunderstood villain. He's just a manipulative trash can in designer shoes." We spent the next 2 days combing through everything Jenna's DMs. She had a screenshot from 2019 of Nate at a party with a girl clinging to him. Caption, "This your man?" Comments under our podcast posts that sounded eerily familiar. Emails from listeners who started connecting dots. It was all too similar. Same story, different city. He'd move fast, move in, mirror their personality, then drain them emotionally, financially, sometimes literally, and vanish. But the wildest part? No one had ever called him out by name. Until now. I didn't want revenge anymore. I wanted accountability. So we planned something big. Episode 10 would be a live recorded exposé, featuring Sophie, Lexi, and me. A full hour of every red flag, every lie, every pattern, and his full name. We didn't do it lightly. We had legal backup, disclaimers, facts, dates, screenshots. We weren't going to accuse, we were going to reveal. Because maybe, just maybe, if we told the whole truth, we could stop the next girl from falling for him. We recorded it on a Thursday night. My hands were sweating. Lexi had a shot of tequila before we hit record. Sophie was calm, too calm. The kind of calm that comes after you've been burned so many times your skin just stops reacting. Episode 10. The pattern has a name, Nate Ellison. Yep, we said his full government name. First, middle, last. We even dropped his LinkedIn bio, because if he could present himself as an upstanding leader in legal innovation, we could present the actual portfolio of lies, theft, and emotional terrorism. We each took turns. Sophie talked about the stolen laptop, the drained credit card, the way he used her until she couldn't say no without risking her own survival. Lexi talked about the gaslighting, the cheating, how he isolated her from friends by planting little seeds like, "They're just jealous of what we have." And me? I talked about the ring, the "done with her tonight" text, the rooftop spectacle, the way he smiled through all of it like he was the victim of my drama. We didn't yell. We didn't rant. We just told the truth. Calm, clear, devastating. By the end of the recording, we all sat in silence. No one said it, but we all knew once this went live, there was no going back. We uploaded it the next morning. Captioned, "This is not just a breakup story, it's a warning." And then we waited. At first, it was a slow burn. Then it exploded. The episode hit 100K plays in 24 hours. DMs flooded in, some thanking us, some angry. But the most chilling messages came from other women. "I dated him in Boston. He told me he was still recovering from a toxic ex. I think he met you. I have a kid, and I think he might be the father." I felt sick. It was deeper than I thought. Messy, eh? Scarier. But I also felt powerful. Like we'd finally cracked the code on someone who spent years making women feel small, stupid, and too emotional. And the best part? We didn't have to say much after that. The internet did the rest. People found his socials. His law firm page mysteriously went down. Someone made a TikTok series called Red Flags with Nate and used his old couple photos with Becca and Madison like it was a trailer for a Netflix documentary. Even better? His own mom commented on our podcast Instagram, "I always told him to stop lying to women." Maybe now he'll listen. I'm so sorry. I choked when I read that. Because damn, when your own mom publicly checks you, game over. A few days later, I got an email from an anonymous address, subject line, "You got what you wanted. Now stop. Body. I lost everything because of you. You think you're a hero, but you're just as manipulative. I hope this was worth it. You wanted attention. Congrats. You're a fucking star now." And I sat there, staring at the screen. And I didn't feel fear, or guilt, or doubt. I just smiled. Because for the first time in years, he couldn't control the narrative. He couldn't twist my words. He couldn't fake an apology. He couldn't bury what he did. I was the one holding the mic now. And I wasn't done speaking. A huff.